Was inside the hospital. Eventually a doctor came and he looked at me, and then he went and treated my daddy, because I guess he could tell that my daddy was in a whole lot worse shape than I was. We were eventually put in a room, and in the room, that's the room where my daddy died. But he never complained. I can remember them coming and getting blood from me. The only place they could get blood from me was out of my toe, because I was burned. So they got blood out of my toe. And when they did that, I threw up. I don't know why. It could have been reaction to trauma or whatever. But not too long after that, Daddy started having problems, and Mama was pushing the buzzer for the nurses to come to see about my daddy. Nobody came. I got out of the bed. I ran to the nurse's station to get somebody to come see about my daddy. My daddy died. Give me just a second. You hear all of this and you say, well, this is a horrible story, and it is a horrible story. And how does this happen? Well, it happens when good people do nothing. That's how it happens. But it makes it real personal. I was 10 when this happened. So that's been 46 years ago. I'm 56 now. And it's still real to me. I don't talk about it because it's still real to me. When I leave here tonight, guess what I'm going to hear about? So no, this is not something that I discuss on a regular basis. Someone asked me earlier, was I nervous? No, I'm not nervous. It's just the truth. It's just not a topic that I choose to discuss on a regular basis. Okay, I got a pen. Let me get to my next section. We're going to get away from the Dahmer family for a second, and we're going to come back. In spite of all that has happened to the Dahmer family, we are survivors, and we will continue to survive. As I was looking through this, pulling up various related documents, I saw a thing on the internet today about women in Afghanistan and how they are being treated today. President Karzai on Thursday paroled an Afghan woman who was serving a 12-year prison sentence for having sex out of wedlock because she was raped by a relative. Karzai's office said in a statement that the woman and her attacker have agreed to marry. That would reverse an earlier decision by the 19-year-old woman who had previously refused a judge's offer to marry her rapist. But since she has now agreed to marry her rapist, the decision has been made to forgive the rest of the sentence, and she has been pardoned. About 300 to 400 of the women jailed in Afghanistan today are imprisoned for so-called moral crimes, such as sex outside of marriage or running away from their husbands. Fleeing husbands isn't legally a crime in Afghanistan. That's today. That's not January the 10th, 1966. things have gotten a whole lot better for black people in the United States. Things are certainly better for the Dahmer family. But we will never forget the things that have happened to us. Also, it's been in the news this week about the passing of Governor Bill Waller. And it states that former Mississippi Governor Bill Waller Sr., who was a district attorney and twice unsuccessfully prosecuted, the man eventually convicted of killing civil rights Medgar Evers, died. He was 85. He was governor of Mississippi from 1972 to 1976, a time when Mississippi governors were limited to one term. Waller ran an unsuccessful campaign for governor in 1967, but things got better for him in 1971. Back to the Dahmer family. 14 people came to kill us that night. Of the people that went to trial, we were able to get 4 convictions. Those persons that were convicted were Cecil Sassons, who was convicted for life. Charles Clifford Wilson, who was sentenced to life. William T. Smith, who was sentenced to life. And Lawrence Byrd, who was sentenced for 10 years for arson. 4 people were convicted. 4 people were subsequently pardoned by Mississippi governors. Cecil Sassons was pardoned on January the 1st, 1978, after serving 10 years by Governor Cliff Finch. Charles Clifford Wilson, time was commuted to time served on January the 15th, 1976 by Governor William Waller. William Thomas Smith was paroled on January the 23rd, 1978 by Governor Cliff Finch. And Lawrence Byrd was paroled September the 29th by Governor John Bell Williams. During the Waller administration, the Sovereignty Commission was done away with because it was no longer politically expedient for Mississippi politicians to stand up and say, yes, if you do this, we'll keep the niggers in place. William Waller was the governor when he refused to sign the bill. And they talk about all the good things that William Waller did for the state of Mississippi, how he abolished the Sovereignty Commission, how he tried Beckwith twice. And those are good, and you have to look at the totality of the individual, and you can do that when things don't affect you personally. But when things affect you personally, you have a different opinion. Listening to my family story, you might say, how horrible. How could this happen in America? Black people were second-class citizens in a country where the law said they were to be treated equally. Well, this I can also say truthfully. For my mother, Ellie Jewell, for my brother Harold, and myself, I can say William Waller is, and you can insert whatever expletive you desire. The person that commuted to time served Charles Clifford Wilson, who was convicted of murder and sentenced to life on January the 31st, 1969, for the crime he committed against my father. I did not poll all the members of my family, but for my mother Ellie Jewell, my brother Harold, and me, we do not mourn his passing. That's my speech, folks. You can ask me whatever you would like to ask me, and I will answer the questions as best I can, or I will tell you that I don't feel like I'm qualified to answer that. But that's my speech.